Welcome, folks. Second initial installment of the Van Brown podcast. In this podcast, we'll talk to you a little bit about championship celebrations. Who did it better, the Warriors or the Capitals? Start of the World Cup happened last week. Talk to you about where teams were before the World Cup and where they're at right now. And NBA offseason has occurred, baby. Where your team's at? NBA draft is coming up. Let's get into it. The Warriors won their third title in 4 years. A dynasty team. Sixth title overall. The Washington Capitals won their first title in their 44-year history as a team. And the first title in the Washington, D.C. area since the Redskins in Super Bowl 26. But who did it better? I guess you could say the Warriors. During the parade, got off the bus, celebrated with the people in Oakland, California. The Capitals celebrated wherever they went. Drinking out of the Stanley Cup, partying in a pond. What else can you say? Well, who were the stars? Alex Ovechkin was the clear star of the Capitals. The Warriors had a three-headed monster. JaVale McGee, Pierre 2 times. Swaggy P, or better yet known as he's been elevated as Swag Champ. And the rookie, Jordan Bell, basically getting a bottle of Hennessy off the bus. But was it justified? Did they do right by their celebrations? Who overdid it? Who didn't do enough? That all remains to be seen. But I do want to say the Warriors do know how to party. But Alex Ovechkin did become the life of the party for the Capitals. He was the superstar that did not win a title, that did win a title. That's finally rested those demons and got the monkey off his back. Jordan Bell did go kind of hard for a rook and JaVale McGee. Swaggy P. Well, he's just Swaggy P. But hey, I think that both teams did the right thing with their celebrations. They partied hard. The Warriors said this was their toughest road yet. They may have more to come. Alex Ovechkin, like I said before, got the demons off his back. I think both teams did well with their celebrations. The Warriors could have had the Capitals could have, I guess you could say, engaged the fans a little better like the Warriors did when they let their players get off the bus. Hey, both teams, congratulate them for their success. And congrats on throwing a hell of a party for both teams, especially the Warriors. Oakland was lit, as we say. Very lit. The world's game, the game of all games, the beautiful game. World Cup Soccer 2018 Russia. Top 10 teams before the start of this World Cup are Brazil at 1, Germany 2, France 3, Spain 4, Portugal 5, Argentina 6, Uruguay 7, Belgium 8, England 9, Croatia at number 10. With notable teams as Colombia at number 11, Mexico at number 14 and 22, Egypt with Mo Salah. Now let's go into a little bit of opening round games. Russia completely obliterated Saudi Arabia with 5-0 to open up these games. But the game of the day, or possibly of the week, was the next day with Portugal and Spain. Superstars going head-to-head to open up these games. Well, I guess you could say he is the GOAT for a reason, or one of the GOATs. Cristiano Ronaldo. 3 goals, hat trick against Spain. Wow. Diego Costa also with 2 goals for Spain. But what a masterful performance by Portugal. Or shall we say Cristiano Ronaldo carrying Portugal to a tie with Spain. France beat Australia 2-1. Possibly a big surprise in Group C was Denmark over Peru. And a tie between Argentina and Iceland. I don't know. Where was Messi at? The favorites of the group, or one of the favorites, with Croatia, tie with Iceland? Doesn't add up. Switzerland and Brazil, they muddied the game up. Brazil didn't show their flash as we all expect them to. But the 5-time champs did get a tie with Switzerland. And possibly one of the other surprises of the first week, of these first week of games is Mexico beating Germany 1-0. The 2014 champs stymied by Mexico, scoring nothing. That's a shock in itself. Not as shocking as in Mexico can't compete with Germany, but a shock that the champs can't get a goal. And hats off to Mexico for showing up in the World Cup and surprising these first round of games. We move on to Belgium. Romelu Lukaku scoring 2 goals late in the second half as Belgium absolutely showed their dominance against Panama. And like I told you before in my first podcast, Group H, who's going to win it? It might have been the group of death. With Japan up, I don't know what you say. Yeah, it's an upset. They upsetted Colombia 2-1. Senegal beat Poland with Robert Lewandowski 2-1. Group H is basically flipped upside down. Now you got the two favorites, Poland and Colombia, looking up at Japan and Senegal to get out of the group. Who expected this? So after these first round of opening games in this first week of the World Cup, the rankings changed. Let's see where they're at. So after these first week of games, you got Spain at 1. They moved up. Portugal at 2, thanks to Cristiano Ronaldo. Mexico, third best team in these World Cups. Wow. France at 4, Uruguay at 5, Belgium at 6, England 7, Brazil 8, Argentina 9, Croatia stays right there at 10. But notable teams that really dropped from their high rankings. Germany at 12, all the way from 2 to 12. It's a big drop. Russia was 27th in these rankings. Now they're 16th. Colombia, possibly one of the biggest falls, went from 11 to 22. Now, where do you see these games going? Who's your favorites now? After these first week of games and these first opening games in the group stage, who's the favorite? You got Brazil, you got Germany, Argentina, Portugal, France, Spain. Is Mexico favorite? Can Mexico defeat the many titans that they must beat to get their first World Cup? I think it could happen. I love Brazil. I know Brazil can do it. But suffice me to say, I think the surprise team to look out for is Mexico. They're greatly underestimated. They beat the world champs in Germany. What do you guys think? Who do you think is going to get out of this crazy, unexpected World Cup as we love, which we need? Who do you guys think is going to get it? Who's your dark horse? Who's your favorite now? After teams show their first group stage of games and what's to come in the knockout round? Who's going to advance quickly? NBA offseason has already started, not even a week after the season ended with the Warriors beating the Cavs. And we have news in the NBA. Dwight Howard gets traded. Not even a full year has gone by when he wasn't traded. June 20th, 2017, he was traded from the Atlanta Hawks to the Charlotte Hornets. And June 20th, 2018, he was traded from the Charlotte Hornets to the Brooklyn Nets. What has happened to Dwight Howard, I ask you? He's basically become one of the laughingstocks of the league. Can't stay on the team right. Wants to be a big guy with offense, but he really can't play offense. Only can play defense. Back problems. What has happened to Dwight Howard? I got this question for all of you. Is he a Hall of Famer? I'm serious. Really ask yourself. Is Dwight Howard a Hall of Famer? He's a multiple-time winner of Defensive Player of the Year. Hasn't won MVP. Got to 1 finals. Got to the conference finals once. But what? Multiple-time All-Star. But what has he done? He's basically become one of the last remnants of what we don't want our centers to be. Guys who can't play offense. Guys that can only play defense and dunk the ball. Can't shoot a free throw right. Can't shoot the free throw. His free throw is great, but is this what we want from our centers now? What has happened to Dwight Howard? Like we've all known this guy to be this dominant center on the defensive end who controls the paint on defense and offensively sets hard screens, go up and gets the lobs and dunks, and is a dominant force inside. But he's becoming one of the laughing stocks of the league. Gets traded by terrible teams to another terrible team to becoming something so great. This great prospect to a dominant big man to what? In other news, Kawhi Leonard wants out of San Antonio. To us casual fans, that's no surprise. We expected it. But due to the comments of Greg Popovich and Tony Parker saying earlier in the year that Tony had a worse injury than Kawhi and has came back healthy. And then Pop, through many attacks through the media, showed that the Spurs had no clue what was happening in Kawhi because there was no communication. Now, Kawhi does want to leave the San Antonio Spurs, preferably go to my Lakers, which I would love. So why not give him to the Lakers? Why not let Kawhi just go? Well, the Spurs, Pop was wanting to be in contact with Kawhi and sought him out earlier in this week by talking to him in San Diego, and did have another talk with him in LA. But I think the Spurs already see the writing on the wall. And as does other teams in the league, Celtics can vie for Kawhi, the Cavs, 76ers. Hey, a lot of teams could give up a lot of good prospects for Kawhi. But he's also said that whatever team he signs with would only be for 1 year in hopes of playing for the great Los Angeles Lakers the year after when he becomes a free agent. But it doesn't seem the Spurs want to give up Kawhi. They don't want to. They'll take talks and conversations with other teams, but they don't want to give up Kawhi. Who would? I wouldn't. But who would want to go to play for him in San Antonio when your teammates bash you and your head coach embarrasses you in national TV when it's clear you have an injury that you can't play through? But should we bash him for that? Is Kawhi right in wanting to be from San Antonio? Can we hear from Kawhi? Oh, I don't want to hear it through the media. I want to hear from Kawhi. Can you please just tell us what you want? If you want to out of San Antonio, just let us know. So, well, we kind of know, but instead of hearing it through media outlets, just like give us some on Twitter, maybe Facebook, maybe Instagram. If not that, then talk to somebody. Maybe somebody in the Dodgers that go to the Dodgers game can, just ask Kawhi, do you want to be here in LA in La for the Lakers? Hey, is that so hard to ask? Can we hear from you? I don't want to hear from no media outlets or great media reporters and such. I want to hear from you. Please, if you want to come to the Lakers, we can make it happen. Bye Lonzo. Goodbye Brandon. Nah, I don't know. Not Brandon or Kuzma. Nah, ball. I'm just saying. I would love to see Kawhi with LeBron on the same team. So, for your team, how are these NBA offseason gonna start rolling through for you guys? It's already started. We ain't even getting to the draft yet. What's to expect in NBA free agency? I can't wait. Can you? Because I know it's going to be crazy. And I'm excited. I know my team is going to be excited. But I hope for your team as well. The NBA draft is on its way, coming to you soon. Got top prospects of DeAndre Ayton, Mo Bamba, Marvin Bagley III, Luka Doncic, Jaren Jackson Jr., Wendell Carter Jr., Michael Porter Jr., Colin Sexton, Mikal Bridges, and Trae Young. Those are the top 10 prospects of this year's draft. And of those top 10 prospects, who do you guys want? If your team is drafting in the top 10, who do you want your team to draft? The Suns will get their first ever pick at number 1. The Kings at 2, Hawks 3, Grizzlies 4, Mavericks at 5, the Orlando Magic at 6, Chicago Bulls 7, Cleveland Cavaliers at 8, New York Knicks at 9, and the Philadelphia 76ers at 10. This is a hypothetical show. So hypothetically speaking, what would you want your team to pick? Who would you want your team to pick if you're in those top 10? Me. If I was the Suns, it's a no-brainer. You get DeAndre Ayton, 7'1" big man, out of Arizona. Why not? Absolute monster at 7'1". A monster. Draft him. What can you lose? You got him and Devin Booker for the foreseeable future. It's a can't miss. The Kings. Oh, I don't know what to say about the Kings. They're Sacramento Kings. But I would go with Marvin Bagley III. The Hawks, you either got Jaren Jackson Jr. or Luka Doncic. Who would you want as your staple guy or your young prospect to grow, to start anew with? Could go Jaren Jackson. Super athletic, versatile, young, 6'11", could put the ball on the floor a little bit, could shoot a little bit, but he's a dominant force inside. Could you pair him with, Dennis Schroeder, Taurean Prince, or Luka Doncic on the wing with those guys? The Grizzlies need a lot of hope. Need a lot of help. Sorry, not hope. Help. Either way, the Grizzlies are going to get a good pick, but I think they should go after Mo Bamba, maybe. Or maybe whoever they don't pick, whoever the Hawks don't pick, Luka Doncic or Jaren Jackson Jr. The Mavs should definitely get a good pick out of this, and they should definitely go after Mo Bamba or somebody good. Wendell Carter, somebody. They need help too. And as the list goes down, we go down the list. We see the Cavs, 8. Will they be making a pick post LeBron or with LeBron to trade later in this year, or trade later in the draft? Or the Knicks? The Knicks. We shall not go any further with the Knicks, who haven't done basically nothing since 1972. Hopefully they get Trae Young. They need a superstar to go with. Well, they need a superstar because Kristaps Porzingis won't play this year because he tore his ACL. So they need a new young face to pair with him in the hopes of playing together not this next year, but the year after next. Trae Young would be absolutely perfect for New York. They should have got him in 2009, but they skipped over Steph Curry for someone else. We don't want to name the names because they don't matter. They're not Steph Curry. Great job, Knicks. Classic Knicks fashion. Or should the Cavs at 8 go for Michael Porter Jr. too? Who knows? Maybe the 76ers get Michael Porter Jr. Pair him with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. What? Or Mikal Bridges, homegrown prospect out of Villanova, the 2018 Final Four champs. Who knows? But that's just me. Where do you think where do you think these draft prospects are going to go today? Sorry for a little mess up, but where do you think they're going to go today? This draft is a high probability of somebody either making a great decision or a grave mistake. It can enhance their job or cost them their job. A Western Conference assistant GM said that this draft is going to change the way the game is played over the next 8 to 10 years, because the way to beat teams that play small and defensively, switch everything, is to have big skilled guys, and that's what this draft is full of. Which is kind of true, as 8 of the 10 top 10 prospects are big guys, basically small forwards on up, and can guard multiple positions. Mo Bamba, for instance, he doesn't want to play for the Memphis Grizzlies. So Memphis, let's just assume that you're not going to get Mo Bamba. And New York wants to move in the draft for him. Not surprising. Could be the next Patrick Ewing, maybe even better. They need help. New York, please make a good decision this year, or don't. Just be the putrid team that you are since 1972, like I said before. Or Sacramento definitely wants Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic and Mo Bamba. The Cavs are expected to take Michael Porter Jr. With the hopes of replacing him of LeBron James, or starting anew with the young squad. Trae Young had a secret workout with the Cavs, and they may get him. The Cavs may pick him up if Michael Porter Jr. goes off the board. The Hawks are going over either Doncic or Bagley III if he's still there, or Jaren Jackson Jr. if he's still there. And the Bulls definitely want to move up from number 7. Should they move up? What do they need to move up in the draft? Because they need to move up in the draft. Chicago Bulls need to make some moves. And the Hawks do want to move back up into the lottery too, with giving up their 19th and 30 picks. It all starts today though. The NBA draft. Where do you think your team is going to draft? Who do you think they'll draft? Where do you think the top prospect is, and who will be the number 1 pick? Of these 8 to 10 prospects, who's going to be the big shot? Who's going to make the big surprise? Who's going to make the big moves? Who's going to make the big trades? I'm excited to see. The NBA draft is about to start, baby. Be on the lookout. There will be an emergency NBA draft podcast, and in that podcast, we will go over what happened in the NBA draft. But before I get onto all that, I want to leave you with your message of the day, which is don't let social media rule your life. As we see, people go in social media, believe what they see, and take it to real life. Like these rappers like 6ix9ine and all these guys that clout chase or want to be so-called gangsters. Let's all get real here. There's real and then there's fake. There's real people that really do things that we shouldn't see and are really about that life. And then there's others that want to be for the social media fame and popularity and be a gangster. Don't let this rule your life, folks. It's just a platform to connect to people and connect with others. Don't let it rule your life. Don't believe everything you see on social media as what people are and how men or women are. Be you. Express how you are. Be unique in your own self, in your own right. Don't let things that you see of people actually make it be of you. Don't let it rule your life, folks. It's not everything, but it is something to connect to people. It's a way to make connections. Be out there. Let people know who you are. This platform is to let me express myself to you. You'll hear my story later on, but this is about other stories. I want to get their stories out to you so you can take those stories and make it your own and see how it fits in your way. And lastly, it's not a new show, but it's a show that I do love and everybody else will love because it's a great show. It's on USA. Premieres June 21st. Queen of the South, Season 3. If you haven't watched the first 2 seasons, it's a must. A little bit about it is that there's this young Mexican woman who's caught up in the Mexican cartel, and she must fight her way from being basically nothing to actually being something and find a way for survival as her boyfriend was killed. And you see what kind of goes through some people in Mexico or that has to deal with these cartels, drug cartels, and see what they must go through in order to survive. and how they basically come from nothing to being of something. And the rough struggle it is when you are all around drugs, and how drugs consumes your life, and how everybody wants to be with these cartels and stuff. So, thank you for listening to my podcast. Be on the lookout. Special NBA draft podcast coming up. Maybe an emergency. Anything might change. You heard it first. Or you didn't hear it first. Probably heard it second or third. But tune in. The Vanna Brown podcast coming your way.